Well, I mean, do we know the date when it was announced that, like, say, principal photography started on The Force Awakens?
We can find out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
that's
was
what I'm
gonna say.
thinking. Because I remember, I think the script read through was in like maybe April or May, I
Yeah,
want to say,
it
of
was.
2013.
Yeah, it was. I think it was. I think April. April sticks in my brain for some reason, but I'll find some more specific dates in a second.
Yeah, because I want to know what this timeline is. Because obviously, like, 20 December 2023 is now less than 2 years away. We're talking about like 21
Okay, so
months.
principal photography. I'm reading from Wikipedia here.
Mhm.
Principal photography began in Abu Dhabi on May 16th, 2014.
Okay, so
The
that
much,
timeline is that could still work if they start the late spring of this year. It's the same amount of time.
yeah,
Get it
and
done.
other films in the trilogy had different timelines. Like I feel like Last Jedi got started sooner. I'm quickly scanning their Wikipedia pages. Okay, Last Jedi was weird because it had like 3 days of principal photography in September of 2015 before Force Awakens had even come out, and then took 3 months because they needed to shoot on Skellig Michael. But then they didn't start shooting again until February of 2016. So a bit of a longer lead time for that movie. And then let me see let me get to the Rise of Skywalker. What happened with that movie? That movie I feel like was the had the most condensed.
Yeah, because they had to rewrite the whole thing.
Yeah. Filming. Yeah.
New
Yeah.
director and
Principal photography began on August 1st, 2018.
dang, that was rushed.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
That was wow.
it wrapped on February 15th, 2019. And then there were reshoots that took place in July of 2019. And even more that took place in late September and mid-October.
Wow, right before.
Really going down to the wire on that movie.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's doable. And the other thing to remember is Solo exists, and they fired Lord and Miller in the summer, and then Ron Howard came in. It took over. Let's say in June they fired the directors, and Ron Howard I think was announced just a little bit later, so either late June, early July, and so. They just kept filming, and they've basically refilmed the whole movie in less than a year to get it out for May, which was quite an accomplishment on the one hand, but also kind of shocking.
At this point, based on everything I'm hearing right now, I kind of hope Rogue Squadron doesn't come out in 2023.
Well, okay,
I kind of want them to just take their time. Like, don't rush this thing.
Rogue One began principal photography in August of 2015. So, just because that happened with the other one, The Rise of Skywalker, doesn't necessarily mean that it's a problem. And remember, Rogue One went through extensive reshoots as well. Tony Gilroy came in and saved the day.
And we've had these discussions before. Like, we just got done talking about Alan Ladd Jr., the guy that held back the forces of the studio, saying we need to cut this movie because the production's a train wreck. That was the original Star Wars, by the way. So like a movie having a troubled production does not mean it's going to be good or bad. There's plenty of movies that have had horror stories of productions. But I still I look back and, I just don't want them rushing it. I don't want them rushing it. It doesn't feel like I don't know, like maybe they've already cast it. Maybe it's all ready to go, scripted, whatever else. But, I still I want them to take their time with this.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they've been working on this movie for quite some time. It was announced in December of 2020. So presumably, some story work. They must have had some kind of, treatment for the story done before that, I would think. And then after that, then, it's been, over a year since then. And those reports about it having problems. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was in like the summer or the spring. Like it's been a while since we've heard anything about it. It's been a long time. So I'm open to the idea that they've had they were able to sort out some of the issues that they were working through. One of the things was that Patty Jenkins, had probably one of the most jam-packed schedules in Hollywood, doing Wonder Woman, and she was going to do a movie, a Cleopatra movie, which she then dropped out of as director, allegedly to focus more on Wonder Woman and Rogue Squadron. So it seems to me that it's possible. It's possible that they've sorted things out, and whatever it was that was the hang up, they went, all right, we figured it out. Let's get going on this thing. Let's get casting, because presumably the latest they could start by would be August. That, based on their previous track record, that seems to be sort of the cutoff time for when they want to be ready to go. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm hopeful that this is something, but I'm also, like I said, I'm open to the possibility that someone just messed up and used an old version of the schedule and forgot to make this change.
I don't know. I think the more that I think about it, when we first started talking about it, I was like, oh man, that's so soon. That they must have screwed up. But then talking about all the other schedules for all the other films and how a lot of them had way more condensed schedules than this. That now I'm kind of more convinced that this is accurate and that Disney wouldn't screw up like this. So, I think this is a thing. Like, I think they're keeping a lot of information really close to the chest about future Star Wars projects, because there's been so many situations where things have gotten announced and then they haven't happened, or major things have changed about them. And I think they're just really careful right now about that. So I understand why, there'd be all this stuff going on and we'd end up with kind of almost like a soft announcement of something that actually should be pretty major, because, while it's slated for that time, probably they don't want to make a big fanfare of, oh, this is still happening, this is at this time, and here's some more announcements about it. Like, here's the cast, because, between now and then, something could change again. And that wouldn't be the best PR to keep yanking people around like that.